I'll put it this way. I was a problem in school. I mean, I remember I have a 9-year-old son who's also having some problems in school right now. Very much the kinds of problems that I have. He was restless. He is easily distracted. The things that the teacher wanted him to learn are not necessarily the things that are most important to him to be learning. And my wife and I talk about, we're worried about our son. We want our son to do well in school. And I say, yeah, but I was just the same way when I was in school. The things that school wanted me to do were not necessarily the things that were most important to me. And so for me, it took the form of not behaving very well. It's funny to think now that I'm a professor and very successful and I teach teachers, but if my students had seen me when I was 9 years old, they would have thought, this kid will never become anything important. But now I see, from my perspective now, I see that not only is my failing, I keep hitting the microphone, I'm sorry, not only my failing and my behavior, but also the failing of the school, or at least some of the teachers in my school, to identify what I did care about, what was important to me, and to try to find a way to connect what they wanted to teach to the things that I was interested in and motivated to do. And that's a different starting point in education than saying, here's what you need to learn, you know, your job is to learn what we think is important. I think certainly if I was a young person today, I would be completely immersed in the technology. I would be playing games all the time. I don't, and as an adult. My son is making movies now with the video camera. And I think those are the kinds of things that I see in my son, the things that I think I would be doing. I would be wanting to use technology to create things and make things that were important to me. And in the process, he's learning a lot. But it's not necessarily school information that he's learning. What I would say is that the most important thing is to understand that the nature of technology is changing now, and that we use expressions like ICT, information and communication technology, that aren't really very good descriptions of a lot of what people are doing with technology now. You know, is YouTube an information and communication technology? Well, it's something else. It's making videos. I could give a lot of examples where the nature of the internet is much more a creative space, a place for building and making and sharing the products of creativity and knowledge. And I know that there's resistance from teachers. I know that that's part of the burden that we face as teacher educators. But one of the ways in which I try to get teachers more involved in this is by getting them involved in the pleasures of creating and making things themselves. All the teachers in all my programs, I tell them that the things that they build from my courses go on the web and that other people will be able to see them too. A typical school assignment or a paper is only ever seen by two people: the student who writes it, the professor who grades it and then turns it back, or an examination is only ever seen by two people. A product that goes on the web is seen by hundreds or thousands of people. And so the most important thing, I think, for teachers is to be involved in that culture of the internet as a creative place, as a place for collaboration, sharing, and producing new knowledge and new resources. I think if we can get them to understand that, some of the resistance goes away, because they aren't just thinking about this as a tool that's being imposed on them, but rather something that they're participating in and personally benefiting from.